Hi, good day. Today we are going to look at logging in Golang. As usual, let's look at a C# code and then convert that to a Golang program. I got a simple .NET console application which sets up the logger factory with a default trace level and creates an instance of the logger and then prints out a bunch of logger at various levels. And when we run that, we are going to get trace, debug, info, warn, fail, and critical errors displayed on the console. So let's look at what Golang provides us in the way of logging. At the simplest level, Golang uses the log package. So log.print, so println hello. And if we run this, it's just going to print hello world in the console. So what's the difference between log.println to then doing a standard fmt.println? The log.println by default adds the date and time to the log, and you can do a bunch of things on top of the log.println. So one of the things you can do is you can say log.set prefix, and you can say whatever you want to prefix by. So you say, let's say we want to record this log is coming from this main func. So when we do that, let's do a couple of logs just to get the idea. So let's say hello world 1, hello world 2, and when we run this, you will notice the main prefix is applied to all the log lines. So let's put a space and that, so makes it a bit clear. And what else you can do? You can also set flags. So when you say flags, what do you mean by flags? Is you can say log.set flags, and it is a very similar to prefix, but it's pre predefined flags you can output in your log file. So you can say log dot, let's say ldate, and you also want log dot il time, and you want log dot maybe the long file. Okay, let's do the short file. So you get the idea. So it's a various bunch of things which gets added to the log file. So if I run this again, you're gonna get the flags we added in the output. This also helps you allow you to format the log file in whichever way you want. So if you got a particular application which is consuming these log files, you would be able to format these as per your requirement. Okay, so at the moment we are printing it out to console, and which is okay, but what if we want to output to a file? So the way to do that is uh, let's do copy this, and let's say func log to console, and I will just paste it here. So we will do various methods. So here it's coming from log to console. Here go. And so to call this, and just to run it again to be sure we are, so all I did is just move it to a separate method. So we can, now let's copy this, and let's say log to file. Okay, so let's call log to file as well, so stop it from complaining. Okay, so what do we need to do to log to file? So we need to set up a file. So let's just change the name, and to do that we'll have to create a file to log. So to create a file in Golang, we need to use the OS library. So we need the file, um, and error. As usual, everything we do get from the errors are returned as an additional response from the method itself. So we say os.open file, and the file name, so we can say let's say main.log, and the second is what are the permit flags you want to open the file with. So we are going to say os dot create, and we also want to do os dot append, and we also wanted to do it in the write mode, so os dot write only mode. And let's close this for a moment to give us more space. And then 0644, this is the standard way in Linux to define the file permissions. So this would let you create and append to a file um, in this is the permissions, right? So okay, so now like everything with Golang, so we need to check if error is nil. So if it's not, we need to handle that. So if say error dot nil, error is not equal to nil, and we can say log dot fatal cannot open log file. So we'll come to this in a moment. Log.fatal does something additional to what a normal log.println does. When you do log.fatal, it automatically ends the program as well. So we will do that, we will try that. So the next thing you do whenever you open a resource in Golang is you can close it by differing that operation. So you can say differ file dot close. So if you remember from our previous videos, the differ method runs whenever the first function is going to finish, so it cleans up after itself. Okay, so now we have created the file, we have checked if the file is okay, and we have deferred the closing operation of the file, and now we need to set the log output. So we can say log.set output to the file. So this way the output from this method is going to go to this file. So that's pretty much it. If we run this again, and we, as usual, we get the console logs, but we should see the log file appearing as well. And the next thing I wanted to talk about is the fatal, and I said it does something more than just a simple log. So explain that. Let's copy that and print it here. And let's reduce this thing for a moment. And let's not log to the file anymore. So clear. So it's going to print out hello world 1, and then it's going to print go to log.fatal I am fatal. What happens then? Let's try. So here you go. It says hello world 1, and then it says I'm fatal, and then it doesn't print the second hello world 2. That's because when it hits fatal, is it as simple as saying logging that entry and then returning that application. So log.fatal would end the program after this log is done. And that's a critical difference between Golang and C#. C# logging itself doesn't control the flow of the program itself. So please write a little note. Program will end after this, with this line. So the second thing, in addition to log.fatal, there's one more thing we can do is we will comment this out for the moment. And you can also do log.panic. So let's try that. So if we run this, so it again doesn't go to the line after the panic, it is from that point of view, it's very similar to log.fatal in that the program ends after log.panic, but it gives you more context of what happened and where it's ended the program. So it says main.go line 20 is the place it's panicking, and that's where it ended. So it gives more context in the output for us to debug. So that's pretty much the default logging uh, in in Go. So let's uncomment that, and I'm gonna uncomment this as well. I'm just gonna add the additional context. And as usual, if you want to explore the source code in detail, head over to my GitHub repo. The link to this particular exercise will be in the description below. Okay, so this is the basic built-in log functionality we can get out of the box from the log package which comes along with in Go. But in .NET we know logger gives us so much, and then we go and add probably Serilog kind of frameworks where we are able to log to a different things. We can log to a database, we can log to the cloud, etc. So similar to that, Golang, there are various popular packages which are available in Golang. And let's look at one particular package which is quite popular. So let's clean that up a bit. And let's comment that out to not confuse us. Okay. So we will bring in a package, we'll need to initialize the module. So let's say go mod init. I think it's go mod init. And so we need to bring in we are bringing in a package called Zap. So Zap is one of the popular packages, is by Uber, and it's open source, and it's pretty performant. And let's see how to use it on top of the default login functionality in Go. So let's clear that. So when we did the Go mod init, so it provides us like a module file, and which is very similar to the package.json or a NuGet in the project file. So we need to bring in the package. So we say go get, and it's going to get us the package, and it's added the package and the dependencies to the go.mod file. Okay, so like how do we use this? So let's create another function, func log with Zap. So to log with Zap, which is the name of the the module, is we will have to initialize the logger. So we say logger equal to Zap dot new. We will have to, for some reason, Golang VS Code doesn't bring the library by itself if you use it with the third-party module. So I had to manually paste that in the import. So if I do that, zap dot, still not getting, I added a comma there. If I save it, it removes that library, so I just need to use it first before I save it. So okay, so here you go, we get the IntelliSense. So zap.new, we want to do a new production. So we're just going to use our default one. There's various configurations and various ways you can use Zap with. We are not going to look at every Zap in that much detail. It's probably we can do it in a separate video. So once we have created the logger, so it's doing a squiggly line, that's because the new production returns both the logger as well as the error. So I need to also handle the error. So if you say error, and we will copy that, and we say if error is not equal to null, cannot initialize uh, zap. And so now we can start using the logger as you would normally do. But before we do that, we need to do the logger sync. So this is a point where it's going to, so Zapper does it in memory and then syncs to the output which however is configured. So differ logger dot sync. So it's going to flush any buffered log when this method ends. And so that's done, and then we can start using the logger like we would in this previous just a plain one. So let's say logger dot info info from zap. So let's call this, and we clear and then run us. So you notice by default this is similar to how Serilog does in .NET. Instead of being a plain text string, it gives you the context, it gives you it in a JSON format. So this is easier to consume in Kibana and Grafana kind of tools, where you can log aggregator tools would work well of this kind of log. So that's pretty much how you would use Zapper. So you will also notice it also brings in more context. So for in the default one, if I say log dot, there's only the default fatal various way to format string flags. There's no panic prints, and that's pretty much it. It doesn't give you info or various other. So let's have a look. Logger dot. So we can do info, we can do panic, we can do warn. So this is much more in sync with the levels of logs you get in C#. That's pretty much it. So that's 3 ways to log in Golang. Thanks for watching. Please subscribe to continue continue checking out the videos I'm going to do with C# and Golang. Thank you very much. Bye.